Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Heart Talks with Rohini Jayanti. Have you ever felt your heart race, your shoulders tense, or a knot in your stomach during stressful moments? These are just not feelings, it is your body is communicating with you. What if we have paused or listened or understood those signals? So many questions, right? In today's conversation, The Body Knows, Listening to Your Body for Emotional Well-Being, we are going to explore together the remarkable connection between our body, our emotions, our nervous systems, why we have become so disconnected from our body's wisdom, and how learning to listen to its signals can help us respond to life with greater awareness, resilience, and emotional well-being. And to explore this topic today, we have a wonderful guest with us, none other than Shivali Dikshit Saxena. Dr. Shivali is an ICF accredited leadership and executive coach, organizational behavior practitioner, psychologist, and one of India's 100 most influential coaches. With 8+ years of professional coaching experience and a decade in corporate HR, she specializes in emotional intelligence, behavioral transformation, strategic clarity, resilience, and authentic leadership. Certified in transactional analysis, emotional intelligence, NLP, narrative practices, and Ubuntu, she combines behavioral science with reflective and compassionate coaching. Oh my God. And as a founder of Spectrum, the Awareness Project, Dr. Shivali also champions emotional empowerment, inclusion, and psychologically safe spaces. She partners with leaders and organizations to foster conscious leadership, meaningful connection, sustainable impact, and purposeful performance. Lovely. Thank you so much, Shivali. We are really honored to have you for this session today.
Thank you, Rohini, for inviting me on this talk. I feel really honored to be here amongst some of those very beautiful people who have graced this platform before me. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. So, before we enter into a conversation today, I'd like to invite everyone watching to do something we rarely do, the audience and our guest as well. Not for 5 minutes, just for 30 seconds. Wherever you are, just pause. You don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to, otherwise, you can close your eyes. Simply become curious, notice your body, not to judge it, not to fix it, just to notice. Just observe. How are you breathing right now? Is your jaw relaxed or gently clenched? How do your shoulders feel? Can you feel your feet touching the ground? Is there a part of your body asking for your attention? Just pause for a few seconds. Slowly open your eyes. Now, here is something very interesting. For these few moments, you weren't thinking about tomorrow's meeting or yesterday's conversation or the mail that you have to send right away or the session that you have just completed. You simply noticed what was already there. Perhaps for the first time today, and maybe that's where today's conversation begins. Not with changing ourselves, but with noticing ourselves. It is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, Shivali, we live in a world that constantly tells us to keep going. We answer emails while eating, attend meetings when we are exhausted, work through weekends, and often postpone rest until everything else is done. We may notice that we are tired, overwhelmed, emotionally drained, but instead of stopping, we tell ourselves, Chalo, I'll deal it with later. And over time, pushing through becomes so normal that we may no longer recognize when our body is asking us to slow down.
Yeah.
And in today's world, success is often measured by how much we can do, how long can we keep going, how well we can push through discomfort. But in chasing this achievement, have we unintentionally disconnected from ourselves? Have we become a society that lives more in the head than in the body? From your experience, what is the emotional and psychological cost of ignoring our body's wisdom? And why do you believe reconnecting with it has become so essential today?
Wow. Brilliant question, Rohini. I must congratulate you on first and foremost selecting this as a topic your body knows. It's a very, very powerful topic, and I would say something that, like you mentioned, is the need of the hour. And honestly, the answer lies in the question itself. But let's explore this.
Yes.
With our kind of lifestyles and choices that we make, I believe we've become an expert in managing our calendars. And the strange, we've become strangers to our own selves. Uh,
Correct.
Also with the people who are living within the same four walls of our house, and
Correct.
majority of the time that we spend with them, we still feel that I don't think I know this person so well anymore. And this also is true for our own selves. So we may
Hmm.
have a lot of friends on social media, a lot of contacts in our phone book list, but
Correct.
less friends, even less very comforting relationships, so to say.
Right.
So, so if we do a scan of our experiences, we will only find that uh, celebrating productivity or the bank balance or the number of followers or the likes and the comments, how some of us really go crazy about the achievements for students, maybe the percentage of marks. And a lot of times we are overlooking the quiet signals that our body sends, like how you did the practice, 30-second practice that you made all of us do. And I'm hoping that people who are on this call at this moment, some of them would have experienced that connection, that we could actually instantly feel within our own bodies. We could feel how we are breathing, we could listen to our heartbeat, we became very conscious and aware of the textures around us where we are sitting, and the tingling sensations here and there. So we are aware of our bodies generally, but we're not spending that time listening
Right.
to our body, right?
Right. Very true.
So most times our bodies would whisper before it screams, and
Hmm.
those are the red flags that we must not miss. uh,
Correct.
yeah, so something like a fatigue that we feel. We say,
Hmm.
oh, but zyada ho gaya, it is getting very
Hmm.
overwhelming for me.
Yes. Yes.
Or the acid reflux, for that matter, that is also a sign your body is telling that something is not right, pay attention to it. Or
Hmm.
something like a tightness in your chest, or a lack of sleep, you're not having a very sound sleep.
Correct.
Headaches, for me, sometimes I get those headaches which are telling me something that I'm probably not paying attention to, or any
Right.
of the digestive discomforts. So these all are the signs that our body is telling. uh,
Hmm.
and how intelligent our body is, Rohini, that it would whisper, then it will raise the voice, the levels, then it will reach to the level it starts to scream, and it would not stop until it is impossible for us to
Right.
ignore that sign totally. So
Right.
something
Absolutely.
like a depression or a hypertension or heart strokes or brain strokes, these are signs how body tells us that enough is enough.
Hmm.
Cost of this emotional disengagement, if I can use that word, with ourselves is tremendous. We don't want to reach there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true. You have used the right word, emotional disengagement.
Mm.
That's very right. You know, even, many a times, just for example, just now, when I'm thinking about this moment of this conversation or whatever it is, it could be an important presentation, important conversation, or an uncomfortable conversation, or receiving an unexpected news all of a sudden. uh,
Mm.
what actually happens is we consciously identify what we are feeling, and something is changing within us. We may
Mm.
suddenly feel, unsettled, alert, tense, or unusually quiet, and only
Mm.
later that we realize, oh, I was actually anxious at that moment. So
Mm.
it can
Mm.
feel as though the body has responded before the mind has found the words.
Mm.
So why does the body often seem to know before the mind does? Could you help us understand this connection between the brain, the nervous system, our emotions, and the body, and why these emotional experiences are often felt physically before we are consciously aware of them.
You know, let me ask you a question, and I think it will in turn answer your question too. So, and this question is to your audience also, whoever is watching, in case if you can read their comments, I don't know if that is
Yes,
possible.
yes.
So, what came first, your brain or body?
It came my body.
Yeah, correct. So the body came first, and the brain did not come before body, but it evolved eventually. And the purpose of the brain evolvement was to understand the needs of the body. It is not the other way around. A lot of
Hmm.
people think that it is the brain which is guiding my body. I have no control on my brain. The
Hmm.
fact is, like you said, that we have become disengaged, disconnected with our body. We're not listening to our body. So the purpose of the brain evolvement or evolution was to listen to the needs of the body in terms of what we sense from our sensory organs, how do we respond to the stimulus in the environment, how do we adapt to challenging situations, and how do we survive, most importantly. So
Hmm.
that makes the mind and body connection, the mind and muscle connection, so to say. What makes it even more interesting is that how they two are constantly communicating with each other through the nervous system. So I would suggest and request to all the audience to actually go back to your childhood, your high grade, high school books, science books, where they teach you about how body works. And at this point, maybe it is the right time for me to also request, if the change makers, policy makers are listening this conversation,
Yes.
or if they get to hear this later, is to make psychology a subject in the high school as well. It
Hmm.
helps child understand the biological functions that are happening. There is a clear connection how my psychology is working along with it. So
Right.
they are not they might look like two separate systems, the brain and the body, but they're working in very very close sync. If you could if you could understand your own emotions, you would realize that how the body processes the enormous amount of information outside our conscious awareness.
Hmm.
Our
Right.
emotions are not just thoughts. These are
Right.
the physiological experiences. So you would have seen that when we are very very happy, and we think that this is the moment of joy, we naturally expand that Shah Rukh Khan moment because he's happy, he's showing that through his
Yes.
posture. When we're scared, when it is fear, we contract, we feel very
Yes.
tightened in ourselves, right? When it is grief, we feel very heavy, that it is pulling us down, the grief, right?
Correct.
Or the shame would want us to just disappear from there. I wish I never existed. This moment had never happened.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah, so these neural connections, they actually happen same time, and they're constantly connecting with each other. So if you could, Rohini, share that image that I shared
Yes,
with
I will do
you,
that.
so
Yes.
people can actually understand the relation between the two, and why I'm saying that we must learn psychology in our early years. So just for the audience, there is a continuous loop between the stimulus and the response from the psychology point of view. I can say that something that happens, it can be an event or a thought or a sensation that occurs and you experience it. So how do
Yes.
you experience it? That the brain is interpreting this. The brain evaluates, and brain receives it through our sensory organs. I'm being slightly technical here, but I'm sure all of you understand this. These are very, very simple psychological, applied psychology facts. So the brain receives the information through our sensory organs, and based on the recordings which are already there in our memory, we experience the emotion. So first enters the emotion, then our body responds to it in the form of the feelings, and how the body starts to show. Heart rate will increase, the breathing will change from shallow to fast or little deeper. The hormone release, and we feel that flight, fight, flee, freeze. all of those tensions in our body. And the body then sends a signal back to the brain, and then the loop continues. So it
Yes.
is not that brain exists in isolation. It has a mind of its own. Sometimes we hear people saying, my body has a mind of its own. Um,
Correct.
it is
Correct.
always working in sync with your brain. It's just that we stopped interacting with it. I hope I could explain that.
Yes, yes. Can you see the image, Shivali?
I thought so, I could see, yeah. But I
Okay.
can't see both of us now.
Yeah, I'm not able to, what to say, 1 second. I don't know how to share this. 1 second, I'll just. Uh,
Mm, I can't see myself on the screen, nor can I see you. Let us see how do people respond to this.
yeah, so I have shared it. See now. Now I can, yeah, both of us can see each other, right?
I can't still see you.
So I'm able to see you and the
Okay,
image.
good. Yeah, now I can see the image in myself too. I hope,
Yes,
I don't know how it was it visible earlier when I explained it? Uh,
yes.
yeah.
Lovely. Mm.
So this is how the loop is, and uh, how we can bring the change is by becoming aware at each of this step, and
Mm.
what really can work for all of us, and what I practice myself is become aware and use your breath as a tool to connect with your body again.
Hmm. Hmm.
There are so many different various types of pranayam that one can do to bring that connection back to your body and your
Correct.
mind. So breath work actually comes very handy when it comes to us connecting with your own body again and getting a grip on the emotions. We call it amygdala hijack in NLP. You're an NLP professional yourself, Rohini, so you would know
No,
when
I'm
we
not.
say, oh, you're not. I thought you were. But somebody in your previous conversation, I think,
Yes, Meera
somebody
Bharat
had
was there.
mentioned about.
Yes.
Yeah, so somebody had mentioned about it in the conversation, that how that movement of the fingers. I think it was Sudha who mentioned the
Ah,
how to
Sudharamni.
control
Yes,
the.
Sudharamni
Yeah.
has mentioned. Yes, the flip
So
mode.
the flip mode.
Yes, I
Yeah.
really loved
So,
it.
yeah, that was really very powerful. So
Yes.
maybe you can stop sharing this.
Yeah,
I
yes.
hope this made sense for me to answer this question that you had asked me, Rohini.
Correct. Lovely. Lovely. And as you said, sometimes what happens is we all must have gone through certain moments. Someone says something and that hurts us, and before we have processed it, we snap back.
Mm.
Probably a colleague has challenged us or somebody else has challenged us, and our tone
Mm.
changes immediately. A child
Mm.
keeps us asking something continuously when we are already exhausted, and suddenly a reaction is much bigger than
Mm.
the situation itself.
Mm.
So, but after once we have calmed down, we think, I wish I had handled that differently.
Mhm.
So, my question here is the difference between reacting and responding really just a matter of self control, or is there something much deeper happening within our body and nervous system? So, how can learning to recognize our body's signals create that pause that allows us to respond with awareness rather than react on autopilot?
So let's first understand, Rohini. Thank you again. What amazing questions you have, created for me. Let's understand. What is autopilot mode. This is the conditioned response, a
Hmm.
particular pattern of behavior that has become part of our muscle memory now. जैसे दाल में नमक कितना डालना है अभी हम सोचते नहीं हैं, देखते जितना
Correct.
क्वांटिटी है अंदाजे से डाल देते हैं. We say that
Correct.
I'm like so used to this now. It happens so automatically for me. Office से घर कौन सा रास्ता लेना है? We
Yes.
know.
Yes.
We don't even pay attention after a certain point कि कहाँ पहुँच गए हैं. We've already reached to office. Red light पे रुकना है, green पे चलना है. All of these, or a text message for someone that we don't get well with can trigger a kind of response that
Hmm.
we've trained our mind to give over the years. Of
Hmm.
course, this is based on how we have interpreted and stored that experience. But it is much deeper than the willpower. Ki, सोचेंगे तो हो जाएगा, ऐसे तो होता ही है. All of these statements that we sometimes give ourselves, which are like the statements to mask our feelings. um, sometimes we do not process it too well. हमें लगता है ये automatic हो जाता है. Nothing
Mm,
happens automatic. We
yes.
condition to give that kind of a response over the years, and something that we may call as a coping mechanism, because we're trying to deal with that unpleasant situation, or when we're trying to defend or protect ourselves, we may say it's a defense mechanism that I'm using, which has worked for me in a way. But we realize over a period of time कि इतना भी it is not that very effective, and that's when we begin that change that we want to bring in, by responding differently to the same stimulus.
Hmm. Being conscious of what we are, doing, being conscious of how we are acting upon a particular situation. So this is something to be very conscious about, because we are already conditioned. So when a situation comes, whatever is there in our database automatically triggers it that way. So in order to avoid that, in order to put it in a different way, we have to be really conscious.
Yeah, it's true, true. And the moment, like you mentioned, that that line in the beginning, notice that stiffness in the shoulder, or the
Yes.
tightening of your jaw, or your
Yes.
breath becoming shallow. The moment that you become aware, that slight, the tiniest moment or the tiniest space, actually that creates the starting of the big change that we can bring. So
Hmm.
that one moment of awareness can become the bridge between the stimuli and the new response that we want to create. We can
Hmm.
always ask ourselves, what is needed right now, or what can I do differently? I have been doing the same thing for so many years. It is not responding, not working for me anymore. Can I do it differently now? What would I like to do differently? So
Hmm.
that is where we can actually choose a new response. And
Right.
that, I think, is being emotionally intelligent. And
This is.
again, yeah, I think the breath work is very, very important. So I'm a big believer of breath work. Um, yeah.
Even I do pranayama every day, and it is very important to me, especially because I think a lot. I don't know whether I'm a deep thinker or an overthinker. My brother says that, but I think a lot. At a time, thousands of thoughts come out of my mind, thousands like. So to regulate those things, I have to do breath exercises every day, every moment. It's not like once a day, and keeping away from the rest of the day. It happens throughout, like whenever a situation triggers, like breathe in and breathe out, Rohini. Calm down yourself. But
Yeah.
that really works, truly.
So we are all breathing every moment, right? Might as well
Yes.
become conscious of it. उतना ही करना है. You don't have to do much. You're breathing, and thank God and thankful, be grateful that we're all breathing, alive and kicking. Might as well do it more mindfully. That's
Correct.
the only ask.
True. And many a times, as we are speaking, like reacting, responding to different situations and all, sometimes uh, life becomes difficult. We naturally look out, as human beings, we naturally look out ourselves for something that will make us feel secure enough. Could be a reassuring conversation, a familiar place, a safe space, what you usually create, a
Mm.
routine, or if someone we trust, we go to them and share whatever it is. But sometimes none of those things are immediately available. We may be sitting all alone with uncertainty, anxiety, or emotional overwhelm, wondering, like, where do I go from here? We stop over there. So perhaps part of emotional well-being is learning that we don't always have to escape what we are feeling. We can
Mm.
learn to stay with ourselves through it. So can our
Mm.
body become a place of refuge? What does it mean to feel safe within ourselves? Because we create a lot of safe spaces. What does it mean to feel safe within ourselves, and how does reconnecting with our body help us build that inner foundation for emotional well-being?
Mm. I'm amazed by your questions. I'm like loving every question more than the previous one. So, can your body become a place of refuge? Absolutely,
Yes.
yes. It is the only home that our soul has for as long as we live. You know,
Hmm.
if we
Right.
start looking at it from that point of view, this is the only place that you literally belong and living in. You will start looking at your body differently. Maybe
Hmm.
we'll start appreciating it better than before. Maybe we'll start taking care of it better than before. And I will quote Sudha Ramani ji, who had come. We were talking about that fist, make that
Yes.
fist hum
Yes.
and out. Yeah. So how beautifully she spoke about that monkey mind, and
Yes.
doing things with intention. I think intention is the most powerful word here. We do things unintentionally, we do it carelessly, we do things unmindfully, and then do the same things with the intention of how you want to do it. So the
Hmm.
moment that you establish that mind and muscle connection, your muscle, your body is moving, and your mind is the intention. So, and I also remember from the same conversation, Rohini, you had mentioned about the travel case and the trash can. These are
Hmm.
very, very powerful metaphors that I totally love using in most of the conversations when I'm working with the clients. So you can't use your body like a trash can. You can't use your mind like a trash can ki sab bhar lo usme, and then
Correct.
sit with it and you don't know what to do with it.
Correct.
When you're traveling, you might like to travel light. So don't carry that baggage which is
Right.
which is not helping you.
Which is not
So
helping. Hmm.
so I think in this conversation, what is important, and through these conversations that you're bringing for all the four people, I was listening this morning to some of these conversations, and I realized that the Heart Talks, this particular capsule that you've designed for the conversations, which are, I believe, are working towards breaking the stigma around mental health and emotional
Hmm.
well-being. People
Yes.
should not hesitate to talk about some of these things which are important for them, that they've not paid attention in past, but now they're feeling in their early 40s or late 30s
Yes.
that, oh, I did not pay attention to this earlier. Okay,
Hmm.
you missed about it, but now is the right time to start. Today is the day to start. This is the moment to
Exactly.
start working on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. I'm really loving to listen to you the more. Like, every day we begin with questions. It's me always. The moment I get up, what do I need to finish today? What are my appointments? What all the sessions do I have? What needs my attention?
Hmm.
But I also question how often do I begin the day by asking myself something very simple. How am I feeling actually today?
Hmm.
So we spend the entire day responding to everyone else's needs and notice our own when exhaustion finally catches up.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if there is one conversation you wish every person had with their own body every single day, what would that conversation sound like? And what simple daily practice would help us begin that journey?
Hmm. See, whether we believe it or not, whether we accept it or not, we all have these conversations with ourselves every day.
Yes.
Now, the nature of conversation can be different for different people, right?
Yes.
And this self-talk, or I call it the mirror technique, is the favorite part for me as far as these conversations are concerned. We carry some of these stories which we have inherited from people around us. We start believing some of these stories. How in narrative practices we will say the stories that we tell ourselves, our preferred stories and the dominant stories
Hmm.
that we have started to believe that this is who I am, which could be, for some people, maybe the basic of their foundation, and they start feeling very jittery when these norms or these dominant stories are questioned. Is this who you really are?
Yeah.
And that is the quest that we are on, trying to understand that what are my limiting belief, what is stopping me from really making the most out of this situation, what is
Hmm.
stopping me from making the most out of this life that I have today, what is stopping me from acknowledging the resources that I have around me? Why am I not exploring those resources? and the meaning that we make out of our own stories. It is so important to look at sometimes, and sometimes it feels little unfortunate to also see that how some of these limiting beliefs, they give us low self-esteem.
Yeah.
For
Correct.
somebody who has not really looked at their own potential,
Correct.
uh, and they start believing the stories that people have told them about themselves, without challenging those thoughts. We just make our own meaning out of it, and we
Absolutely.
sit with it.
Right.
That's maybe a way we need to look at the words that we use. Each
Hmm.
word, sound is energy. We all know, simple physics,
Yes.
sound is energy. So the
Yes.
words that we speak, they vibrate at a certain frequency. Now, oops, sorry, vibrate at certain frequency. My phone began to vibrate. So, yeah. So, we need to identify somewhere that what are those low energy words that I'm using in
Hmm.
my day to day conversation, most importantly with myself, and try to replace them with words that vibrate at a higher frequency. A
Hmm.
simple way maybe would be to look at yourself in the mirror and give a big smile and
Hmm.
thank your body. Then, dear body, I thank you for carrying me throughout the day so many years. And what you've been trying to tell me, I have not paid attention, but here I am in front of you, asking and accepting myself with a lot of
Abs-
kindness and compassion. I think if we start doing just that one bit, that 60-second check of your body scanning through, is everything all right? You can just do that EFT bit and tap yourself in various areas where you feel stiffness, where you
Yes.
feel emotion is sitting somewhere. Like how
Yes.
Meera said, I was listening to this conversation this morning. Download what is there in your neurons into
Yes.
this and journal it. So I just loved the way that she spoke about it. Huh?
Exactly.
So I think that is very important that we identify the emotion that we're sitting with. Where is it sitting in our body? Scan it through. Spend some time, and most importantly, tell yourself it is okay to feel that right now. What
Hmm.
would I like to do next with it? And just
Right.
take that one next step.
Correct. Beautifully said. I'm loving it. you know this conversation about listening to our body, our emotions, our nervous system, the signals that we have overlooked all these years, probably if we have not noticed them, understanding something intellectually. What I feel is, understanding something intellectually is very different from experiencing it. So whatever you have spoken so far have been, it's so practical, and it's so, I'm going to say, it is, you have brought a visual imagery in front of us through your words. So rather than ending with another explanation, we can give our viewers a small experience of what we have been talking about. So before we close, I would want you to guide us through a simple 1 minute practice that helps us experience, what we have been talking about, because something our viewers can do with us right now, and
Mhm.
or return to later whenever they feel stressed or overwhelmed.
Sure, sure. I would be very happy if we can do this practice together because it
Yes.
takes less than a minute to strengthen your connection with your body. So I would request everybody to, those who are on this call, and Rohini, you can practice this with yourself right now. Just
Yes.
sit comfortably with your eyes open or closed, whatever makes you comfortable. Sit upright, back straight. Relax your body, relax your shoulders. If you want, you can just shrug it up and down gently. Check how your body is feeling right now at this moment. Take a moment to acknowledge where you're sitting right now. With your eyes open or closed, just bring a gentle, beautiful smile on your face. Be grateful for the moment that we all are sharing this together right now. Inhale deeply and exhale completely. Take a moment to scan through your body with kindness and compassion. Notice each sensation in your body, the tingling, your breath, the sound of your breath, the sound of the doorbell also, the gentle beat of your heart, the sounds that you're listening at the moment. Be there, here and now. And without trying to change anything, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Notice with curiosity and openness. Take one more breath slowly and exhale completely. In this moment that you're here, you're safe. Comfort your body. You're taken care of. Acknowledge this body being your safe space. Whenever that you're ready, gently bring your palms together. Rub your palms, generate the heat. Place them on your eyes, on your face. Bless yourself with health, happiness, and success abundantly. Whenever that you're ready, you may gently open your eyes. Namaste. How are you feeling, Rohini?
I'm feeling so light, and when before I began this particular session, I was having a slight neck ache. I know it is stress. Usually, I will have that whenever I do any session or a program. But now, I'm just sitting and relaxing and breathing in and out and just noticing it. I felt so lighter inside, and also, a kind of emotional joy that a beautiful conversation has taken place. I had the opportunity to listen to such wonderful aspects, all these things. A joy, when now if I start speaking to you for another moment, I know tears would roll down my. I really can't explain that joy whenever this kind of beautiful conversations happen. But especially now today, I'm feeling my heart is full. It's full with something I'm not able to explain, but I'm just able to experience it.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing this. I think what we all need to do is take a pause here and there in between whatever that we are doing. It takes less than a minute to, experience that and be grateful for the moment that we are in. Um, that's what probably will we need to practice more often is take those pauses, connect with your mind and body again.
Correct. It was absolutely beautiful, Shivali. It's been a wonderful evening and wonderful insights shared by you. And our audience also enjoyed, Rashmi has joined, Sirisha, like she is a storyteller, she has joined. Veena ma'am has joined, Nina has joined, and they've given wonderful comments here. And you can see all those comments on the Facebook. Preeti, my friend, she has joined. She says, for me, breath work is so important. It is an internalizing movement.
Yeah, it is. So beautifully said. Thank you, Rashmi. Thank you for sharing this.
And they have given wonderful responses to this session. Umayal says, each emotion is connected to particular parts of the body.
Yeah.
Body responds to any stimulus. That's what Rashmi says. And they're feeling so glad and so happy that like we have brought out such wonderful conversation. And
No,
Nina,
thanks to you for curating this, the whole series. I'm looking forward to the next guests who are there to come because each one of them brought such beautiful, genre that they are working in. Like I
yes,
was
yes.
I was listening to their conversations this morning. Priyanka, Sudha, Meera,
Yes,
they were all such amazing, amazing participants. All of them.
yes.
Soumya is doing such
Soumya,
amazing work herself. And
yes.
I think hats off to you, Rohini, that you thought of designing something like this.
My
I
pleasure.
hope that these conversations go on and more people find that time to connect with themselves. And it
Correct.
is so important to start talking about, I think gone are the days when we would say that mental health is a stigma, taboo. We all
Exactly.
is that we live in a social world. We are so dependent on each other. Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of these cases, when you hear children succumbing under pressure, people in relationships find it difficult to continue with each other or with
Yes.
themselves. This is where I think we all need to rely on our own selves first. So work on your own self, such
Correct.
that you can be your own pillar of support.
Right.
Of course, we are
Absolutely.
social beings. We would need people around us, but that does not mean that I stop believing in myself. Rather,
Hmm.
it start from myself, that I believe in myself and I will
Right.
do whatever requires to take this being safe, sound, and make it happy. Take care of
Correct.
my own wellness first. Um, you know,
Right. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. That open communication, open conversations are very important, which are truly missing these days because
no,
of.
I'm sure with people like you, we are talking about this. Had you not created this hard talks, do you think we would have spoken about this for 40 minutes now? No. We would still be
Yeah.
sitting somewhere in the
Exactly.
silos and thinking something in our minds. And so, thank you for creating this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Shivali, and thank you, audience, for joining. All my dear friends, for taking out your time on a Sunday evening and being a part of this show really means a lot. So next time we'll come up with another amazing topic and another amazing guest. Till then, this is Rohini Jayanti signing off. Bye bye bye. Thanks, Shivali.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Rohini, once again.